We are back again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the channel again. We are going to take a listen to JJ Tabane. He was in a podcast, EFF podcast. We all know that he's got the EFF, they've got a podcast. You can, I think he was talking about it actually, Umalema, on when he was making a speech in court.
We have our own podcast. We've got our own community.
After the Concord thing, he did say that they've got a podcast. So they have invited Mr. JJ Tabane. We all know Mr. JJ, ENCA, very radical, straightforward, straight talker.
And I'm sure the ANC in the background, whatever it is, they now want to remove the mayor of Tshwane. And I'll tell you what is stinking about it.
He's not playing even here. He was not also playing. There is something that is said, which I actually said, and I loved it. Why? Because I said it, number one. Number two, because I think it's the truth, okay? Especially if we are people who maybe are interested in achieving black, coming together or anything. Let's take a listen. We are going to pick him where he talks about the GNU, and then he's going to put some EFF, some MK there and everything, okay? Let's take it from there and let's just enjoy. Please like the video, subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Let's just listen.
Okay. Maybe in closing, because I can't have you and not ask you about the GNU.
Sure.
What are your thoughts about it? I mean, there's a popular narrative now, which I think a lot of us are starting to speak against, about what actually must constitute progressives, what constitutes black unity. We've been invited to black unity by people who governed South Africa for a very long time. So your thoughts on what's the future of this so-called government national unity? What must we do as self-proclaimed progressives in order to ensure that we keep them accountable?
Well, you must unite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a clever thing to tell you. You must unite. What's happening between you and the MK is unacceptable, and it's going to take us backwards. That's what I can tell you straight without any fear of contradiction. Because my understanding, and I don't think I was wrong, is that you had in mind that there must be collaboration at some point.
Yeah.
You always had that in mind, right? What has happened now with people jumping ship and so on was not part of the script and was not part of the plan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you can reverse that, right? But
first of all, you see, one of the things that guys, I don't know if people understand this, okay? If there are people who say they want the black people or black parties, okay, to be coming together and be able to, take over or anything like that, people don't understand that so far, there is only two parties, okay? Of course, in the past, it was only one party. Okay, maybe you can include ANC, but they are here. So not here, but they are non-racial. So in other words, I wouldn't put them into, but they also say we are Pan-African. So I don't know. I don't know where to put them, okay? But before the MK party, it was only the EFF, okay? Especially who were radical, especially who wanted to see black people do well, who actually wanted black people to win and everything, right? Now, at the moment, we only have two parties that are black orientated. That means that are Pan-African. And if these two parties, and they are big parties, which is the EFF and the MK party, and unfortunately, if these two parties, it doesn't work with them, we will never find, okay, what we are looking for or what other people are looking for when it comes to Pan-African black parties and everything, okay? It's not going to happen, okay? Because we've got the MK party and the EFF, okay? JJ Tabane, he says here that, you see, the first thing that I want to tell you guys is that what is happening between the two of you, which is the MK party and the EFF, it must just stop, okay? He doesn't like it, and I also don't like it, okay? It must stop. Why? Because there are two important parties that we have right now if we want to achieve this thing of black, getting into power, and everything and pushing the agenda of the black people. These two parties are very important at the moment because they are the big ones at the moment. Okay. JJ says, you guys, you must stop this thing that you are doing. This thing of fighting each other and everything like that. And he even goes on and says, you guys, before this whole thing that happened, before the elections, in your mind, you had this thing of saying you want to unite. You had this vision of saying, if we can unite, okay? Which is actually very, very important. And I said before that maybe, it may not be maybe a plan, that came together. Maybe they spoke about it, the EFF and the MK Party, but individual parties, I guess they had that vision of saying, we want to bring together the blacks, okay? And now, if these things that are happening right now, people fighting, and the guy who is a host in this podcast, he actually said that.
But we are in parliament, eh? I think the public's bets might be distorting that reality. That in parliament, we are actually very cooperative.
That,
I'm happy.
Well, we are working with the MK Party in parliament, so there's no problem. Then I'm like, but I can tell you, just like what happens in leadership, when leadership is doing bad, for example, if there is corruption in leadership, it's going to flow down. If there is something that's happening outside which is actually causing conflict between the two parties, it's gonna flow down to parliament. Trust me, guys, it's gonna fall down to parliament. That means it's going to affect the parliament work. The next thing, we will be hearing them fighting against each other, voting against each other, and all these things. Why? Because this thing started from outside. Okay? And unfortunately, that is the truth. And unfortunately, if they don't just bury their conflicts and bury their differences and everything like that, I really don't know how are they going to achieve this thing. Some of us, you may think that maybe we don't want the EFF and the MK Party to come together. I do. I want them to actually work together in everything to push the black agenda. I want that to happen. I want that to happen because it is very important for the people of South Africa. Okay? Anyway, let's continue and
It's in trouble. That's why the issue about GNU, because GNU is really a status quo issue.
Yeah.
Interestingly, the DA did not demand that the ANC should change any policy as part of the negotiations of the GNU. They didn't say NHI or nothing, or Bella or nothing. They didn't say those things. They were already in court anyway fighting those things. So all they wanted was the power so that they can be able to demonstrate they can do a better job.
Yeah.
So they had to think carefully to say, let's not make anything to be a deadlock so that they can keep the EFF and MK out. Because if the GA refused and said we'll remain opposition, the ANC was going to be left with no choice but to come to EFF and MK and create the government that we hope, in my mind, I hope there's a government that would be able to better address what I call the time bombs of our time.
Yeah.
65% youth unemployment, 40% unemployment in general terms. Poor economic growth. I mean, we're growing at 0% for how long? The World Bank even revised our growth targets of 0.3 or something. They revised it back to 0.2 or something like that. That's how terrible the situation is. We're the worst unequal society
in the world.
If you just look at those four things, the GNU, in their program of action, it's not that they're going to address those things.
Yeah.
If anything, they're going to spend the next 5 years fighting. They're fighting on their Bella. UNISU is very ugly. It's not like we can, ignore it. You understand? NHI, I understand they are having, literally insulting matches amongst each other because the others don't see why you should have universal coverage. It's a polarized policy.
Please.
Employment equity, the DA is in court. But none of those things, I have to tell you, will collapse the GNU. I know that you guys would like it to collapse. But they don't collapse on those things. Why? Because these people now have power. They never had.
Yeah.
The ANC was supposed to be in the opposition benches at 40. Right? Now they have 75% of the cabinet. Why would they let the GNU collapse? They can't, because it means that they've secured their patronage for the next 5 years. The DA similarly. They don't want to go back to the opposition benches. They've got 6 ministries. and ministries chosen carefully.
Yeah, no, that wasn't a mistake.
You understand? They didn't just try to get arts and culture, like Gaten, and be excited. They wanted to get stuff that's at the heart of the economy, agriculture.
Yeah.
I'm told agriculture did poorly in the last quarter, where
Yeah, it declined.
the DA won't issue a statement about that.
Exactly.
But let's tell them. And it's nothing to do with John. I don't think he knows anything about agriculture. You know, it's a reality of our time, right? Telecommunications. Who on earth, whatever that person was drinking at the negotiations, must be very
It's
strong
madness.
to hand over. You are governing and you hand over propaganda to the opposition.
It was absolute madness.
And
the
you
first-
hand over, forget about the SABC, you hand over digital technology.
Yeah, the first thing
Where
they
the
do-
world is going.
Yeah, they bring Elon Musk. First thing they do, they didn't even play.
You understand?
Yeah.
Public works. I mean, just less than 10 years ago, the ANC was making a song and that's about the fact that they are rolling out the best infrastructure program. And I don't know, Zuma's was going to spend 800 billion or whatever it is. They take that and give it to the DA. Right? So I just mentioned those three. I don't remember the other ministries. Education.
Home Affairs.
Education, the future of our kids. They handed it over to the DA.
While they have a better
These guys,
Okay, now I did say that when it comes to ministries, right? Sometimes when I speak, I don't know Mklambe because I'm not known or anything, but when you are a party, doesn't matter what party you are, right? When you get an opportunity of being in power with somebody else, all right, you make sure that you get the right ministries, the relevant, important ministries, impactful ministries. Okay, that means you want the ministries that are going to be, that you can be able to use to control things, or maybe to do whatever you want to do if you want to do anything. Okay, that's what the DA did. When they got there, they were like, we don't want these Mickey Mouse or these useless ministries. We want important ministries. That's why I made a point and then I said that the Ministry of Justice is very important. The DA, they have been fighting for the Ministry of Justice for some time. From the public protector going up to the ministry, they have been fighting for that. They have been wanting to have that thing. Because it's a very important thing. Agriculture, they took agriculture. That is very important. And then now they talk about, even I didn't even know that actually the Ministry of what is it? I don't know. It's what technology, what thing. Okay, they have got it. That's what it is. That's what it is. You don't just go into power with somebody and then you just give them everything that is important, you know? So I think the important thing here, guys, on this video is the fact that for me, and I will say this until people understand why I'm saying this, okay? I will say that between the MK Party and the EFF, I wish that they avoid having a lot of conflict, okay? They can avoid a lot of conflict, a lot of fights, okay? Even if it's outside fights, it doesn't matter. It's going to affect them in parliament, okay? And it's very important for them to actually come together like that because they are the most important and big parties when it comes to black parties, okay? And I know that there were people actually on TikTok who were talking, I think EFF members, they would say, yeah, because people, they will talk about coming together, yeah, EFF and MK coming together, working together, whatever. And there will be people from the EFF who will say, yeah, coming together, what? We don't want to come together with people like this. We don't want what, coming together, what, sweetie, what? Now you want us to be jolly and agree with each other with everything coming together, what? Okay? I do understand the frustration because the frustration, it emanates from what the MK Party did with their members, taking members, everything. And it created some animosity inside of them. They were angered and they didn't like actually what the MK Party did. okay, which I do understand. But I can tell you guys, if you think that you are a black party alone and you will be able to actually do this thing alone, with the MK party growing like this, and you think that you can just go alone and do it alone, it's not gonna materialize. I can tell you right now, it's not gonna materialize. Okay, that is why the DA needed the ANC, and the ANC needed the DA to stay in power. Nobody here who's going, if they don't come together and just bury their whatever, I'm telling you, we will be complaining and all fighting each other and everything until the DA takes over, and we'll be shouting in the opposition benches, because the aim is to get power. If you get power, you can change things. Okay. Anyway, I hope you liked the video, guys. Please subscribe. You can like the video also. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay. What else should I tell you? Nothing. Okay. Thank you, guys. You have a good day. Sharp, sharp, Afito.